Hi, it's Tina Hamilton, and I have a very special guest with us here today. His name is Dan Kochka with Integrated Accounting Solutions.
Yeah, great to see you, Tina.
Great to see you,
Yeah,
Dan.
thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to have you. And Dan's newer with, he's in our EOA, Entrepreneur Organization Accelerator program. So these are people that are earlier on in their business and growing. And I'm blown away because you said you started your business in 2023.
That's right, July 2023.
So not even 2 years ago, and you're already in Accelerator, which you have to be at least 250,000 or more, 250 to a million in business. You're already there. Most people don't get there that fast. So
Yeah,
you're doing something really right.
I'm extremely grateful for the people that put their trust in me.
That's
Yep.
wonderful. So tell us about how you started, like well, first of all, where you were,
Yeah,
just briefly where you were, but more on what gave you the guts to turn around and start your own gig, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I started at a smaller firm in Verona, New Jersey, where I spent first 7 years of my career.
Okay.
Um, I learned a tremendous amount about how to relate to customers, how to relate to clients,
And you were in
what
accounting, a CPA?
CPA the
Yeah.
entire time,
Hmm.
and what actually matters to small business owners.
Okay.
So we go there, we're in a very compliance mindset. I go to a much larger firm. Now we're talking 1,000 other coworkers,
Wow.
thousands of clients, and I learned the technical side of how to treat businesses up to that $25 million mark.
Okay.
So we go through that and um, learn a lot more that it's bigger than just compliance. We have to be the trusted advisor. We have to lead with advisory. Um, we learned what does it mean to be a fractional CFO? What does it mean to be more than just someone that checks the box and does, essentially the data entry, which
Right.
takes up a lot of time in the accountant's world.
Right. So you have several parts to your business already.
Yeah,
You have this fractional CFO.
yeah,
Tell us a little about that.
yeah, yeah. So on the fractional CFO side, we're focused on providing insights, breaking down the numbers, and then planning ahead. See what do we want our business to look like in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Well, that starts with little sprints, little
Mm.
actions that we can take now to get us to that point. It's not going to happen
Okay.
overnight,
Right.
but understanding what your numbers are saying to you, it's critical if we want to continue to scale and continue to grow.
And so many people can't afford to have that early on. So having a fractional, you can bring in just a little bit, at least something to help guide you, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Hmm.
So if you went to hire a full-time CFO, we're talking
Oh,
200,000
at least,
plus.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, at least. So we come in as a fraction of the cost. We are fully committed to you and your business, come in as a partner. I'd like to make that clear with all of our new
Mm.
engagements is that I want to be part of your business. I want you to call me if something comes up. It's not, let's wait to the meeting or let's wait. You have a question, give me a call. We'll go through it.
Okay, yeah, that's beautiful. And so, okay, so that's one part. Then you have the bookkeeping. So that's like an outsourced
That's
service?
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a couple different versions of our bookkeeping service. We have more of a live bookkeeping service,
Oh,
which
what does
is,
that mean live?
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's, we need an invoice to go out today. You
Oh,
message our bookkeeping team,
hmm,
we'll get that invoice out today.
okay.
We have on the other side, a bill that came in. Oh, this is important. We need to pay this today. Well, message our bookkeeping team, we'll get that paid straight away.
Okay.
On the other side of that, we have what is probably more traditional when you think of an outsourced bookkeeping service.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll meet on a monthly basis. We'll make sure everything's reconciled, categorized, downloaded properly, and we'll still do that.
Hmm.
Um, but on that live bookkeeping service, if you need something, you message us and we'll get it done for
So
you.
it's constant.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have the live, that's like that's like whatever you need when you need it.
Right.
And then the regular, just the accounts payable, receivable, that kind of thing.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Okay.
bill pay,
Bill
managing
pay.
your AR, but that happens on that second model, more on a
Okay.
monthly basis.
Right.
Yeah,
Because it
so
needs to be consistent.
exactly right.
Right.
Yeah, we're big on systems and processes. We have it for everything else in our business. We should also
Hmm.
have financial systems and processes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a beautiful thing because, we were talking earlier about, um, I don't know too many businesses that don't outsource some portion of their accounting work because, you're overseeing something, your business is growing. You don't know if it's growing with you. You don't know what you don't know. And you're relying on people that you can't even necessarily always double check their work because you don't
Right.
really know what everything that's supposed to go into it.
Right.
So outsourcing, somebody else is managing it. They got their eye on the ball.
Right.
They have to do it right,
Right.
etc.
Let us take full responsibility and control for it. You
Yeah,
focus on your business,
right,
do what you're good at, do what you love to do,
right.
and let us handle the number side of it.
You end up saving money
You actually
ultimately
end up saving
because you,
money.
you don't have somebody that's full time vacation, this, that, and then you got
That,
to manage them,
yep,
right? People
absolutely.
forget
Yep,
about the management
yep.
piece of it.
Not only on the fee side, but we usually will find some other savings, whether
How's
that's
that right?
through an expense analysis,
Ah,
or we just went through with a regional plumbing company a cost of goods sold inventory management analysis.
mm,
So we built out their inventory management system.
wow.
I cut their cost of good in half.
No
That's not an
kidding.
exaggeration.
Just by having this
A
new system.
proper inventory management system where people are scanning things as they come out, and now they're being replaced when they need to be replaced. So
Ah,
and we're no longer buying things from supply houses as needed. We're buying in a bulk fashion. So, okay,
ah.
this quantity gets down to, let's say, 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, automatic reorder goes in. Now we have
Ah,
40 more come in, but they're at such a reduced cost.
because you're buying them in bulk.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Wow.
A little,
That's see, that's what I feel like I don't hear enough of from accountants is that level. And that was one of my questions. But before I get there, I want to make sure I cover all the areas of your business. So this outsource, okay, so we got CFO, fractional CFO, this outsource accounting, and now taxes, right? We
that's
got
right.
CPAs. You're a CPA.
That's correct. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a CPA, and tax advisory is a big part of where I started.
Oh, okay.
So let's go through a quarterly planning process. Let's make sure you know where your taxes stand quarter over quarter. We line up these engagements with the estimated payment deadlines. So we understand, okay, quarter one, this was my net profit. Here's my revenue. Here's my W-2. What does that look like from a tax perspective?
Mm-hmm.
We've run into too many conversations early on that were, okay, it's tax time. What do I owe? And it's almost a surprise. Well, let's
Absolutely.
avoid that surprise. Let's see if we can get ahead of it, plan properly, and then see if we can save some tax dollars by implementing some different strategies along the way, too.
And that was exactly the question I was going to ask. So you're already ahead of me. And that was, I've been through a lot of accountants and too big, too small,
Yep.
whatever. Because you grow and sometimes you grow out of them. And
Yeah.
then when we were growing really big, we decided to join a big firm and then they got acquired and
Yeah.
it was too big. And I knew that, the rates were going to go up. It wasn't really even the rates because it's not like that big of a deal for the amount that we use.
Yeah.
It was more of the more and more and more of a disconnect, right?
Right.
And then they're trying to sell you things you don't need in this case.
Right.
But what I have found and I've talked to other people that are experiencing the same thing, is the lack of tax planning, right?
That's the
They
key to it
just,
all.
especially if your money is doing good.
Right. Right.
Money's been good the last few years. We don't really, whatever it is, I'm not saying, oh, whatever it is, we can pay it,
Yeah.
but we're going to be okay
Right.
regardless. And then there's no tax planning. So how do I know? Like I invested in some property, like nothing changed in the way they're doing my personal tax
Mhm.
planning even. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So shouldn't there be something different now? I have this investment property. Shouldn't there be different deductions or different nothing? Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah, so I guess what does that look like?
Mhm.
Is it income producing? Is it
Right.
because there's a difference between cash flow and accounting profit. So there is a
Right.
difference there.
Yeah.
So great rental property
Mhm.
should be cash flowing.
Right.
That doesn't mean it has accounting profit because maybe we're taking
Right.
advantage of depreciation, which we should be.
Yeah.
Maybe we did something like a cost segregation study, which is
Mhm.
now going to accelerate that depreciation in a big
Mm.
way.
Okay.
Are we an active real estate professional? What are the qualifications to be that? That does not mean you're a real estate agent. That's a
Right.
misconception,
Sure.
but there are certain requirements that make you a real estate professional. And so there's all these little things
Ah,
that you can implement along the way that turn into tax savings.
right. And that's what I think, not that we're trying to make this into a commercial, but I
Right.
think that like you said, it's become almost common that people are just there to do your taxes, or you call them with some questions throughout the year,
Yeah,
and then that's it,
very compliance focused. That's
right?
the history of the industry.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah,
But it's evolving, and we were talking
it
a
is.
little bit earlier, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And people that are listening that are like newer entrepreneurs or even current entrepreneurs that've been in business a long time, um, you really have to count. You don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know, but you have to count on your accountant. And I think one of the indicators, at least that I've discovered, is how modern are they? Are they staying up with the times? If you're still getting a gigantic binder, maybe some people like it, but it's wasteful, right? Like, and I don't mean saving trees. I mean, although, it's
Yeah,
good to save trees,
right.
but get this big binder, you got to fill in every little dot. Why isn't it already populated? And then it's this massive project that you don't have time to even do your own thing when you own a business, right?
Right.
Like get modern and have it electronic,
Yeah,
DocuSign, all
yeah,
these things, right? And I feel like a lot of the younger accounting firms get that and they're already operating that way where the others are having to transition to
right,
that.
right, absolutely. We are big adopters of AI, of
Yeah.
technology, all within compliance, all with a certain amount of caution and speculation there. But
Hmm.
uh, we are all for it. The more data entry that we can take off our plate, please, if you're an accounting firm owner, look at it. It's
Right.
it's it's going to save you hours of time, and
Right.
that allows you to focus on the bigger conversation, the planning conversation,
Right.
the forecasting conversation versus, okay, well, I know I need to enter these 300 transactions somewhere. That can be done almost automatically. Now we
Right.
need to check it. We need to make sure it's right.
Absolutely.
What's happening with the data, but
Right.
there's ways to do it
But
much
and
quicker.
AI is getting smarter and smarter and
Oh, it
smarter,
certainly
right?
is.
So
Yeah.
soon you won't even, yeah, it'll be
I hope
smarter than
so.
us.
I hope so.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
that works. Yeah.
That would be good.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at
Right.
all, like
Right.
to a certain extent. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Let's
Right.
not get crazy.
Right. Right.
But right. So a good modern accounting firm is embracing all this technology and everything because instead of looking at it as, oh, accounting is a prime place for AI to take over, right? But it can't take over fully
Right.
because there's still the people part of it, right? In
That
this business,
that's right. And
the
there always will
desires
be.
of what you need or want to grow to. The
Yeah.
AI is not going to be able to necessarily, or at least right now, they say it doesn't have the what is that called? The uh,
EQ, emotional
that's it.
intelligence. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what
Absolutely.
I've read, that
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
yet anyway. Hopefully not for a
Right.
while.
Yeah. Hopefully not
Yeah.
for a while for different
Yeah,
reasons.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I could really go downhill here, but we'll just stop.
Yeah.
So what's your plans for your business? Now you're 2 years, not even 2 years in, and
Yeah.
you're already like, and you have a number of employees already,
That's
right? You
right. Yeah.
said,
So we have
yeah.
3 staff now and
Yeah, it's
continue to
awesome.
grow at that team.
Yeah.
Very hopeful and grateful for everything that they do for us. Yeah, it's looking well right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to grow, and do you have like when you think about growth, besides thinking about just being bigger,
Right.
bigger's great, but not always better,
I
right?
agree. I
Right?
agree. Yeah.
Some people, it's like, okay, I'm good here,
Yeah.
but maybe I'm going to integrate more. Like, what do people want from their accounts now? Like, what do you see as a future for people like
Yeah.
me? I own a
Yeah.
business. I've owned multiple businesses. I'm older. I got to think about what's coming in my future. Like,
All right.
what does an accounting firm like you offer, and not just to somebody like me, but what's coming? What do people want?
Yeah, I think they want more of that advisory conversation.
Okay.
They want more of that planning conversation,
Hmm.
and that doesn't get limited to the financials or the business alone. It also goes into what about you personally, well,
Okay.
the business owner themselves,
Hmm.
and what does the succession plan look like? We're going through 3 acquisitions with our clients right now, so
Oh, wow.
there is a lot of turnover happening. I think there's a transition of almost generations coming through.
Mm.
So we see a lot of established businesses trying to get ahead of that because it takes 5 years to plan for a successful
Okay.
succession plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly right. So it's not something that we can go, I know what, next year, I think that's it for me. It takes time to get there.
And that's where I've read a lot about exiting, and that's
Yeah,
what a lot of people do. They get to that point, and now it's, nope, you got to prepare your business, you got to grow, whatever.
that's
You got
right.
to get it all in order to get the most out of it.
That's
Otherwise, why would you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want the most out of it,
Yeah,
right? Of course.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And there are different ways to go about, for example, inventory management, not to go back to that,
No, it's
but first in, first out, last in, first out. So there's different inventory methods that change what our financial statements look like, change as they're presented. And I
mm,
mean, it's all notated and disclosed to a potential buyer, but these things matter because we have to do that ahead of time because we want to give 3 years worth of financial statements
that look
potentially.
really nice,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
And it takes a little while sometimes. And there's
Yeah.
things out of control, like right now.
Yeah.
We're all in the middle of all this
Yeah.
unknown tariffs,
Oh, yeah.
business, right?
Yeah.
Businesses are already suffering or planning to, and nobody knows when or what because it's switching.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, and nobody
Yeah.
knows, right?
Nobody
Like,
knows. Right.
nobody can know unless they had a crystal ball
Right.
because this is unprecedented.
Right.
But um, right, they're going to count on, I imagine they would count on you
Yeah.
as at least you, the CFO consultant,
Yeah.
certainly,
Yeah.
right, to help them prepare.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've gone into those tariff
Mm,
conversations and we're trying to be proactive as we possibly can. I don't think anyone really saw this coming. So now we're trying to react to it and
yeah.
it changes day to day.
Well, there's that
Yeah, so we're
because they're having their own little war, and we're just sitting back waiting for them to finish,
that's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly
Can you
right.
please decide something? I don't
Yeah.
even care what it is, just decide
Yeah.
so we can move forward,
Yeah,
right?
we went in for an annual budgeting meeting in early January. And we're talking about, oh, look at all these things that we can do, and this is where we're going to invest our money. 3 weeks later, we go back to the same client and go, okay, now can we, is it possible to prepay our tariff expense? Our manufacturer, big importer
Oh,
from China. And what can we do now? Because our budget changed dramatically in those 3 weeks. So
sure.
I've talked to them almost every week since
Oh,
since this has started, and it's a very fluid situation.
right. Because even if they prepay and then it doesn't come through, right? You don't
They,
want to like, yeah.
yeah,
Can
yeah,
you give me that money back,
yeah,
China?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
for
right.
what?
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah.
And right, I mean, I've been watching things like Canada, what all they're dealing with. That's a
Sure.
whole nother world,
That's a
right?
whole nother world.
What's
Yeah,
happening over
yeah,
there. So there's a lot, right? So really I feel like people are leaning more, right, on their financial consultants, the little pool of
yeah.
all the things which you have in one place,
Right, right.
right? The
That,
CFO, the bookkeepers, the whatever, right?
yeah,
Start
yeah.
paying your bills a little slower, or
That
start doing, right?
That's
All the
right.
things you need to
Well,
do.
you mentioned paying bills a little slower.
Right,
Well, that's something we look at. We look at aging reports. We see
right,
when are our customers paying us? When are we paying our vendors?
right. Oh,
Both
yeah.
those things, it's called the cash conversion cycle. It's very important to see the strength of a business itself. Um, are we are we putting out invoices or sending out invoices that are taking 30, 45, 90 days to pay? Well, we might want to renegotiate those terms with
Mm.
those customers, depending on the business that you're in.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
And cash is, right, everything. That's
Cash is
never going to
everything.
change,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Cash
exactly
is
right.
king. I think
Yeah,
I should say cash is queen, honestly, but
there
whatever.
we go. I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I know you talked about business. I have so many questions I can't decide which one to ask. Um, business evolving. Of course, we all know the baby boomers. I'm the last of the baby boomers, by
Okay,
the way,
yeah.
because I'm 1964.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean 94, no,
That's right.
but 1964. So I'm the very last year of baby boomers, and we're all heading towards retirement, and there's going to be this big hole
Sure.
of knowledge and experience that's gone.
Right.
Less people in the world,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
people are having less children.
That's right. Yeah.
We've known, I own an HR outsourcing company, so
Yeah.
we've known this is coming for like 20 or 30 years. And now we're starting to see the effects of it. Shortages of employees, shortages of people getting into accounting.
Yeah.
That's been for years.
Years.
Less and less people just for whatever reason, such a great business, but I guess, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
It's trending.
I think there's a couple factors there. I think when people think of traditional accounting, probably not the most exciting field
Oh,
to go into, right? Just
yeah.
traditional accounting,
Oh,
debits
okay.
and credits,
Yeah.
but it's evolved where it's not just that anymore.
Right.
It I enjoy every day because every day comes with a new scenario. So it's not just debits and credits. So if you're a younger person trying to decide on a major or career path,
Mm-hmm.
accounting is not just tax returns anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than that. It's more advisory focused, like we keep
Right.
saying. And you're going to deal with different scenarios, and you're going to see what an acquisition looks like. You're going to see what a company going public looks like, which is a very exciting process,
Oh, I
going through
bet.
raises. So
Right.
there's a lot more to it than what the initial accounting classes look like, or even traditional accounting firms looked like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a job with security, right? Because no matter how much AI is out, there's going to be a certain amount, there has to be a certain amount of, like you said,
Yeah,
advisory, because yeah, it's just too many complications in business to put it all into computer tax returns, maybe things like that,
yeah,
right? APAR.
yeah.
But other than that, it's you still need the people,
It,
people side of
absolutely.
it, right?
When should we hire our next employee? That's a
Right.
conversation we get into pretty regularly.
Okay.
Okay, we're scaling. When should we bring on our next development person? When should we bring on our next office person? Okay, well,
Right.
let's look at that and let's, in your world, we could probably benchmark salaries and say, okay, well, this is
Hmm.
what we can expect to pay for someone that's going to do this type of work. So
Right.
I'd love to lean on the professionals in the HR world to
Okay, yeah.
get us that data, and then we use that data to come up with some kind of employee utilization schedule, see how efficient everyone is working, and there's
Mhm.
reasonable and unreasonable things there, which we get into those
Yeah.
conversations there.
It's interesting because I think for people in business, we started doing that a few years ago
Yeah.
because we basically are billable hours,
Sure.
everything,
Sure. Yeah.
not different than
Right.
your,
Right.
our businesses are very similar
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not that easy, managing to billable hours. You don't know what kind of clients coming, what level of service they need, how to decide capacity. I think a lot of people in the service business deal with that
Yeah. Yeah.
and don't know. And having that kind of depth of data, and a lot of people don't know. I didn't know just a few years ago. And I've been in business a long time. I've had multiple businesses that I didn't know that there was a way to really manage out and look at history.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew, but I didn't know how to do it.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
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 And so you have somebody that's reliable that
Yeah.
can create these scenarios for you and figure out, when to hire, how to hire,
Yeah.
not how to hire, but,
Right. Right.
financially when to hire, right? Things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Anyway.
This is when we're going to reach some kind of capacity, and we usually, not usually, always, we want
Mhm.
to do it before we hit 100%. So
Right.
a lot of people will get to, we need to hire tomorrow. Well, it
Right.
takes some time,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
as you well know,
Oh,
to find good quality candidates to fill
right.
those roles.
Right. Anybody that's
Yeah.
getting you somebody in a week or two, it's either luck or I don't know what.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Not very well screened people,
Fair
probably.
enough. Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, right, right. And things will keep evolving, and you guys have to keep up with that. Plus,
yeah.
all the compliance rules. That's like got to be endless for you.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure, as much as we try to look forward, strategize, innovate, there's still the foundations.
Hmm.
Everything starts with compliance. So what do we have to do? What needs to be checked off? What needs to be filed? Make sure all these things happen timely and make sure they're communicated well.
Hmm.
So it's not April 15th and you go, oh, by the way, here's your tax return.
Right.
That should be done well ahead of time, and it should be done through planning throughout the year. So you don't have a surprise come, here's your final product, which is the tax return. We've had our meetings. We know what that looks like. Let's eliminate the surprises. We have enough data. We have enough automation and processes where we don't need to go through a last minute, tax surprise.
Right.
As long as everything's communicated well.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
the
Yeah.
key. That is the key.
Yeah. And you may owe more tax than you have cash. So if you're not planning, it could really end up in trouble. You do not want to borrow money to pay taxes. That would be the worst idea. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
people must do it, but you don't want to
yeah.
have to do it.
We've seen those, new client, at a certain point, once the calendar flips over,
Hmm.
it's really hard to go backwards. So we've had
Yeah.
new clients will come in February or March, and we deal with, okay, by the way, we prepared your tax return. Here's what it looks like. Now, more importantly, okay, let's solve this issue, but what can we do next year? What can we do
Right.
moving forward so we don't keep rolling into the same situation
Right.
where it snowballs?
You make sure you have enough cash aside.
Cash is everything.
Everything,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah. Years ago, I learned that lesson, 2008, when everything crashed and
Yeah.
all that. And I ran into debt, and eventually I learned the hard way. It took me years to pay off that debt, which kept me from being able to grow because I needed it. I had to pay the bank. I couldn't hire people or whatever.
Right.
And now I run my business debt free, and I intend to do that till I die.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that's my choice, how I choose.
Yeah.
Some people, if you have a business with inventory, things like that, it's pretty impossible to do that sometimes, but some people do it. But yeah, being ahead of things, it's just so important
Yeah.
for your future. And then just planning for the future, right? For
Right.
the person
Right.
that's running the business.
And the individual, exactly right. Or individuals if it's a group.
Yeah.
Each one of those owners probably has a different goal, a different version of success, understanding
Mm,
what that looks like,
okay.
and then putting plans in place that follow that version or that vision of success.
Right.
There are, again, fundamentals that we all more or less have to follow.
Hmm.
But when we talk about sometimes bigger isn't always better. What's the goal
Right.
revenue number? What do we want our lifestyle to look like?
Right.
These are all conversations we get into because we need to have a great understanding of the client's goals, the vision of the owner before
Right.
we can start making recommendations.
Right. Right. That makes total sense. Otherwise, you're just working in a box,
Right,
right?
right.
Everybody's the same, everything's the same.
Very
And
templated, very structured, almost going back to that traditional CPA
yeah,
firm
right.
model.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Blue suit.
That's right.
You're wearing a black suit, so you're okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So what if I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but what advice would you give? Like, you've been successful quickly. Like, to me, that feels quickly, like
Sure. Yeah.
what you've done,
Yeah.
and I think that's tremendous. It says a lot for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are independent, whatever, CPA or whatever, for years before they can get to this point, and you're only not even 2 years.
Right.
So what advice would you give to somebody starting off in any kind of service business or business, like to get to where you are?
Right. Yeah. So the biggest piece of advice is to understand the future client. So
I
understand
love
what
that.
a small business owner really wants and needs, and that is different for each business owner.
Of course.
So having a full length conversation during the onboarding process to get a great understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and then building out the service to fit the client rather than saying this is the service client, can you fit into this box?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my biggest piece of advice. Take the extra time to get a great understanding of who you're working with
Right.
and what their visions
And
are.
develop your systems around that.
Correct. Exactly right.
Right. You shouldn't build a system around every single client, but a system that serves the kind of clients you want to serve,
That's
right?
exactly right.
Right?
Exactly
Yeah, I just
right.
wanted to make sure I knew that's what you were saying, but I
Yeah,
wanted to make
I
sure it was coming
appreciate
across
that.
that way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's everything, right? If you're serving to the client, you're always going to be ahead, which is not
Yeah.
easy either.
That's not easy,
Yeah.
but yeah, we attend things like our great EO events. I learned a lot about marketing the other
Oh,
day.
oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So that I'm not
So
the
good.
marketer, so we learned
Yeah,
a ton there. So yeah,
that's
that would
really
be my
good. Yeah.
advice.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you're well on your way. You probably already know that, but well on your way to really growing into something
Uh,
good with that kind of a
Really appreciate it. Yeah,
attitude and process and what
yeah,
you've already done.
yeah.
So, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for being
Oh,
on
thank you
here.
for having me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been really a lot of fun
yeah.
getting to know you and understanding you.